So you signed up for a race that's going to go around the clock, aka 24 hours. And how do you go about it? This weekend, the Bakersfield Marathon is virtual. You can do a marathon all in one shot, break it up into pieces, or you can do 1 mile an hour for 26 miles. I'm here at the Garces Circle, which the Bakersfield Marathon traditionally runs through. In fact, behind me there's the Elks Lodge. So, wish we were running this course. So I'm going to do the 26 by 1 mile. And on this video, I'm going to talk to you about my strategy for doing all-night events. I've done six days, 3 or 4 72-hour races, half a dozen 48-hour races, and I'm not even sure, probably a dozen 24-hour races. So I've stayed up all night walking, running, and moving every hour on the hour. This race, you're supposed to do 1 mile per hour, which is going to be kind of difficult because you're actually going to have a long break in between. Well, 30, 40 minutes. The last time I stayed up all night and did 1 mile an hour was at the Celtic Winter Classic, which is a race that we do here in Bakersfield, California. I've done for a number of years. I don't think we're going to have it this year, but this year I decided I was going to do at least 1 lap every hour, which I generally do anyways. But then I advanced it to, I hope to get 3 miles an hour. I ended up getting 73 miles in the 24 hours, and I walked the entire way. Often when I talk to people and they hear that, I've done a 100-mile race or longer, they're like, they're more impressed. They go, did you sleep? And I'm like, no. And it seems like more people are more impressed by us, people staying awake for 24 hours than actually covering 100 plus miles, which is kind of funny to me. In fact, the only people I've ever met who aren't impressed with me staying up that long are my fellow poker players. I used to play poker for a living online, and then I moved to Golden West Casino and other casinos. And it's so funny. I'd go in there on Friday evening, play for a few hours, come back Saturday, play a tournament, come back Sunday, and the same dudes would be sitting at the table, to the point where I remember one time I had to go to Vegas for a tournament, and instead of paying for parking at the airport, I went to the bicycle casino and was going to take the bus from bicycle casino. They have 96-hour parking there. So poker players are highly motivated. They're either winning or usually they're losing and trying to get back to zero. And so they can stay up for hours and hours and days. Even some old guys like Doyle Brunson. The guy's like 75 years old with a walker and everything, but you'll see him pulling big hours. In fact, if you ever play the World Series of Poker, it's like 9 days of 16-hour plus days. So that's kind of my story of, if you're going to do this race, you have to have a good why. And the why doesn't have to mean anything to anybody but you, but have a motivation. And this is just 1 mile an hour for 26 hours, but figure out your why and then go from there. So now hopefully you have your why on why you want to go beyond 24 hours, 1 hour at a time, or maybe you're in a 24-hour race, 48-hour race, or really going crazy and doing a 6-day race. So have a why. It just needs to be important to yourself. Now you need to commit to the race. And this is something that I find people don't do. 24-hour, 48-hour, this 26 miles an hour, 1 mile per hour for 26 hours, that's the goal. So commit to it. Say you're going to finish it no matter what, unless, some kind of structural injury is going to keep you. But if you're just tired, sleepy, sore, bored, any of that stuff, you just need to keep going. Now, I've dropped out of races for plenty of reasons that didn't include those. I'll be bored or something or just not happening, but that's the way it should be. I'm standing here in front of my house, and the Bakersfield Marathon, when it traditionally is run, this is mile 10, so it's kind of cool to run by your house at mile 10. Of course, I don't really ever like doing the marathon because I'm pretty slow, so there's usually nobody out there. But the first 16 so miles of the race are on the streets of Bakersfield, which is unusual for Bakersfield. Most races are on the bike path that if you watch my videos, you've seen plenty of times. So you got the commitment. One of the things I found was really interesting about commitment was the guy that has won Barkley Marathons a couple times, my half-ass internet research. I don't recall his name, but I heard him on a podcast once. And of course, Barkley Marathon is a supposed 20-mile loop in Frozen Head, Tennessee that Laz came up with. And you do 5 laps, you finish, and only about 15 guys or so have finished the damn thing. And this guy said one of the reasons people don't finish it is, he goes, there's plenty of really good distance athletes in the race, but they're more 100-mile racers or things like that. And so they get to a certain point and they just give up. And it's because they don't commit. And he says when he goes out there, he's like, you get 60 hours to do the race. And so he commits himself to being out there for 60 hours. Sure, he'd like to be done sooner, but it's 60 hours. Of course, with a 24-hour race, 24 hours, or this 26 hours, a mile an hour. So you know what you're going in for. And so he says a lot of people just don't wrap their head around it. So, they get to the fun run, which is 3 laps, and then they quit. And he says he's even victim of this. He says when he goes and does a 50-mile race, he's not done in 9 or 10 hours. He just kind of mentally bails out and he's, quit and dropped out of them. So definitely commit yourself to your objective, and your objective is to complete the race. And in this race, it's 26 miles, a mile an hour for 26 hours. So that's pretty easy, simple math. And so next I'll talk about how to prepare for the event. Not training wise, it's too late and you don't really need to do a whole lot of training to do a mile an hour. So next time I'll talk about preparation, the kind of a race day prep. So hey, you have your why. You've decided to commit to doing this event and finishing it. Now some preparation. Obviously it's a little too late to prepare for the race. But, you do prepare, find your course, find a course that's doable, that you're going to be able to do with pretty ease and safely. I have a 1-mile loop here in my area that I can definitely do, and it's exactly a mile. Pretty safe, pretty well lit, not a lot of traffic. I do have a treadmill that I can jump on too, which I may do, but I'd rather do it all on the 1-mile loop. Of course, we do have California, we have a curfew going on, so I don't know, but I'm going to try to do it on my loop. I'm going to have my stuff prepared, have some food stuff that you want, your drinks you want, all the extra clothes you want. We got lucky. It was supposed to be like 30 degrees, which is going to be one of the coldest days we've had in Bakersfield. But now it's going to be 35, 36. So not so bad. Still pretty cold. So I have plenty of clothes nearby so you don't have to be looking for them in between your, mile loop that you do, or even if you're in a race where you're trying to do as many in 24, everything prepared, have it all set out. The old adage, nothing new on race day. So definitely don't have any new, don't try any new equipment, new foods. I often say, eat what you like when you're a kid, because you'll still like that. Don't have to eat a whole lot in this race. One of the things, is also have somewhere comfortable to rest between the 1 miles. I often think that's the hardest part, is just kind of waiting around to do the next mile. If you get tired, which, later in the thing, you're going to get tired and sleep, don't lay down for too long. Hopefully you have someone with you who can let you take like a 5-10 minute nap. You'd be amazed how a 5-10 minute nap will help so much. I've had athletes do San Diego 100, lay down for 5-10 minutes, get back up, finish. Same thing with like Badwater, Western States, all those races. 5-10 minutes just to revitalize yourself. Supposedly Courtney Dauwalter, when she crushed the Moab 240 and won by 10 hours or 20 miles, she supposedly took a 1-minute nap and felt like $1 million. So if you got to take a nap, take a short, quick one, but make sure you plan it out so you can get back out there and continue on with your race. Myself, that's what I'll be doing. I think what I'm going to do is I've got my car, my Prius. I'll probably put my Prius in my driveway and use it as my late night aid station place to hang out. Just get in there, turn it on, sit there, maybe take a brief little nap, and then head back out and do the 1 mile and repeat. So that's kind of the preparation on it. You got the why, that's kind of mental preparation. Commitment is the preparation too. And then it's just a matter of getting out there and doing it. You should just rely on yourself, but if you get help, it's always great. But don't count on people helping you. I think that's another key thing, because things happen. So as always, I always want to say, stay healthy, be boring, not epic, and enjoy your time going 26 hours or more.